No one ever notices the small choices, do they? They don't seem important. They don't feel heavy. But trust me, they are. Let me tell you a story about a guy named Ethan. Ethan believed he was a good person. Not perfect, of course, but decent. He didn't lie often. He didn't go out of his way to hurt people. And whenever he slipped up, he had this little mantra he'd tell himself, "It's not a big deal." That little sentence followed him everywhere, when he'd stroll into work a few minutes late. It's not a big deal when he saw a message from a friend who was clearly having a rough time and thought, "I'll reply later." Not a big deal when he took a little too much credit for a team project, something he didn't fully earn. He'd just tell himself, "Hey, everyone does it." On the surface, nothing seemed particularly wrong. Each individual choice was tiny, almost invisible. But then, a strange thing started to happen. Life started answering him in the exact same way. The trust his colleagues had in him began to fade, slowly at first, then all at once. People just stopped relying on him. That friend who needed him, they stopped reaching out. Opportunities that once seemed within his grasp would quietly pass him by, choosing someone else instead. And Ethan was completely baffled. He couldn't figure out what he was doing wrong. He hadn't made any huge, catastrophic mistakes, so why was everything falling apart? One evening, his mentor, an older, wiser man he respected, sat down with him. He asked Ethan a very simple question. Do you think character is built in the big, dramatic moments? Or in the small, quiet ones? Ethan honestly didn't know how to answer. He'd always thought about the big decisions, the major life events. So, the mentor continued. Think about it like this, Ethan. Every small choice you make is a vote. It's a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. That single idea hit Ethan like a ton of bricks. A voce. That night, Ethan went home, and for the first time in a long time, he just sat and thought, not about his biggest regrets or his most obvious mistakes, but about all those tiny, insignificant choices he'd brushed off, the messages he never answered, the small promises he broke because they were inconvenient, the shortcuts he took when he thought no one was watching, the times he said yes, but his actions said no. And as he pieced them all together, he realized something deeply uncomfortable. None of these individual choices had ruined his life, not a single one. But together, they had shaped it. They had woven the very fabric of his reality. Change didn't happen overnight. It never does. But the next day, Ethan did something different. He arrived at work, on time, not to impress his boss or to make a statement, but simply to respect his colleagues' time. He pulled out his phone and finally answered that message he had been avoiding for weeks. It was awkward. It was uncomfortable, but it was honest. A few days later, during a meeting, he made a point to give full credit to a coworker for an idea, even when it meant he wouldn't get the recognition he wanted. At first, nothing magical happened. The world didn't suddenly applaud him. There were no fireworks. But slowly, almost imperceptibly, things began to shift. People started to notice. The trust he had lost started to return, not with a grand announcement, but quietly in the background. Respect followed, and those opportunities that had disappeared, they started coming back. Not louder, but stronger, more meaningful. Through this process, Ethan learned a powerful truth, one that I think we can all benefit from. Life rarely punishes us for one single, big mistake. It responds to the pattern of who we choose to be, day in and day out. You don't just become an honest person in one heroic moment. You practice honesty in 1,000 small ones when no one is even looking. You don't become a kind person with one grand, charitable act. You choose kindness when it would be so much easier to just be careless or dismissive. You don't become reliable by acing one huge project. You become reliable by keeping the 100 little promises you make. In the end, your future, your character, your success isn't built by luck or by waiting for that one big moment to prove yourself. It's built by the habits that no one ever applauds. It's forged in the quiet, unseen moments of your day. So be careful with those small choices. Pay attention to them. They might feel lighter than air, but they are heavy enough to decide exactly who you become. Thank you so much for watching. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more stories like this. See you next time.